Good morning, everyone. This is the Digital Twin Theory, a podcast about innovation in healthcare produced by the Virtual Physiological Human Institute. My name is Davide Montesarchio, and during this podcast, we will speak to a wide range of experts, such as doctors, engineers, policymakers, philosophers, and social scientists about in silico medicine. In this first episode, we will discuss about digital twins in healthcare and how we can benefit from them. Our guest for today is Liesbet Geris, Professor of Biomechanics and Computational Tissue Engineering at the University of Liege and KU Leuven. Moreover, she's the Executive Director of the Virtual Physiological Human Institute. So, hi Liz, good morning, and welcome to the Digital Twin Theory.
Good morning, Davide.
First of all, Liz, what is a digital twin in healthcare? It sounds a bit like a nerdy topic, but can you explain it in simple terms?
A digital twin is a virtual representation of a physical process. It can be an organ, it can be an entire body. And what it does is it tries to start from as much data as possible that we have from a patient to create a personalized model that mimics that process or that organ or that body in real life. So a digital twin is always connected to the physical twin in one way or another. So it receives data from the physical twin and then it provides input back to the physical twin on, for instance, treatment strategies that can be followed, the course of a disease, and how it will progress given certain lifestyle choices or medication or therapies.
Using a digital twin is not that in general is something radically new. It has been already employed in other fields, right?
Yes, indeed. Digital twins are used a lot already in more traditional areas of industry. As I mentioned, the plane is fully tested and designed in silico in the computer before the actual prototype is built. There are digital twins of production lines that read in sensor data from different machines and that make projections whether this production process is still going as it should be going, whether the quality is still there.
Coming back to the digital twin in healthcare, can we consider it a copy of our body or a part of our body that we can use in healthcare?
Yes, indeed. And healthcare can be a wide range of decisions. It can indeed be clinical decision support, so a physician, a clinician using this to compare different treatment strategies and picking the most suitable one for that particular patient. It can also be personal health forecasting, that a person can use it to monitor its own health progress, but it can also be used in the development of new medical devices, stents, implants, and other devices, or drugs that help to understand the diversity that these drugs and these devices would be facing when they are actually used in the wider population.
We talked about in silico, but what does in silico mean? And how does in silico medicine differ from, let's say, classical medicine?
In silico medicine has the words in silico in it, referring to silicon, the main component of computer chips. So it is another way of saying doing medicine inside the computer. It is a term that has been chosen in relation to in vitro and in vivo approaches that are frequently used in biomedical sciences that respectively refer to experiments on the bench inside the laboratory or in living entities. Now, in silico medicine relates to general medicine in the sense that it provides an additional tool to make decisions or to integrate all of the different measurements that are done and create a better knowledge, increase the knowledge that the clinician can use or that patients can use to deal with their own health. In silico medicine applications can really be from diagnosis to treatment strategy choice to follow-up to design of the new treatment strategies. And so in really all areas and all aspects of health and care.
Can you please make an example of how in silico medicine can enter into our everyday healthcare?
Some well-known examples of in silico medicine are, for instance, testing what kind of stents, cardiac or arterial stents, should be used for patients, because there is quite some variability in terms of the geometry and in terms of the physiological situation. So using a computer model to test in a patient-specific way to test what stent might be the best, that is a very clear example of in silico medicine. Other examples are where, for instance, we are talking about orphan diseases or pediatric diseases, where there are not enough patients to really run clinical trials, or where it's ethically not easy to run clinical trials. There, in silico medicine can be used to augment the number of patients that we have with virtual patients, which are based on the actual patients, of course, but to provide additional evidence and to increase the safety of the therapies that are being designed.
All of that list sounds really interesting and promising, but what do we still need to have a wider adoption of in silico medicine?
We have in silico medicine a number of very strong success stories where the regulators like FDA in the United States have already approved the use of digital evidence in various stages of the process, of the regulatory process, from the design to actually the replacement of clinical studies by digital evidence, as we call it, so the evidence generated by in silico medicine tools. There are hurdles in terms of technologies. So when we want to answer more complicated questions, we need more complicated models. We have been working as a community very hard on how to assess the credibility of the models, and there is already quite some progress there, but more is still needed. There is the training and the retraining of people, both in their master's degrees, but also afterwards, people that are already in the work field that need to be updated on the latest technologies and their implications. And then there is, of course, always the need for more data that is publicly accessible and that is of sufficient quality to be used as input for these digital twins and in silico medicine applications. And finally, there is the work on the social acceptance, the policy level, and the regulatory, that as a community we are working on to make sure that whatever we develop is in line with the policies, or that the policies are in line with the developments, and that we have the trust of the stakeholders, of the patients and the clinicians.
Based on your experience, Lies, how have patients generally responded to this concept of generating a personalized digital twin? Are they any frightened about using their personal medical data for that?
There is some variation in the patients that we've spoken to in different focus groups and other events that we've organized. But in general, if it can help to get a solution to their healthcare problem faster and a better solution that they currently have available, they're very much in favor of participating in whatever way they can to the development of these new technologies. That being said, there is still the unknown component of what is in silico medicine, which is why we are developing additional material to help them understand what it means and what it can do. But when they are not entirely certain about the technologies, they will look at their healthcare provider. And if that person is able to explain what these technologies can do and how they are using it to provide better healthcare, then this for patients is already a very big source of trust, and this will help them in overcoming their initial hesitation maybe or uncertainties.
Since this new technology is coming in between the doctor and the patient, how could the relationship between the healthcare provider and the patient could change or not?
As any new technology that is also accessible by the patient, there will be an effect. There will be an empowerment of the patient, because the patient can also work with their own data and their own models and get the output of the models in certain conditions and discuss this with the physician. Now, this is something that is not a bad situation. There are a lot of examples where patient empowerment is leading to a better healthcare outcome. So this is something that we need to train both the healthcare providers and the patients for. That being said, the use of digital technologies is a tool that can help the healthcare provider also to get a better view and a more integrated view of all the different types of data and tests that they're confronted with, like the images and the blood work and a number of other clinical tests. So this is something that will put this together in a comprehensive way that they can then use to base their decision on. So it is more a help that might maybe even increase the time that healthcare providers and patients have to discuss with one another, rather than it being spent on having to interpret all of the different tests that underlie it.
Well, thank you very much, Lies, for your valuable insights during this first introductory episode. And also a big thank you to all our listeners. We will be back next month with the second episode of the Digital Twin Theory, produced by the Virtual Physiological Human Institute. From now on, every new episode will be available online on all major platforms. Follow us on LinkedIn, X, Facebook, and Instagram to be notified on the next episodes. And also don't hesitate to send any question or to suggest new topics for the Digital Twin Theory. Again, thank you very much, Lies. I wish you and all our listeners a great day.
Thank you, you too. Bye.